thank you all for being here today to celebrate Arbor Day in Centerville. And Arbor Day started back in 1872. It was an idea of a gentleman who lived in Detroit, Michigan, and his family moved out to Nebraska in the late 1860s. And he looked around Nebraska and he said, there aren't any trees here. He came from Detroit and he came from an area that was very heavily wooded with trees, and he thought, I think I'm going to start this idea of planting trees out here in Nebraska. Well, it served a very legitimate purpose out in Nebraska because it was so flat. It became very good for growing crops, and it was helpful to keep the soil in place for the trees. So they estimated that the one day that this gentleman who started Arbor Day out in Nebraska back in 1872, that over 1 million trees were planted that day alone in Nebraska that changed the landscape and the ability of Nebraska to survive as a thriving agricultural center for the country.
We love to grow trees, keep the area green. It's good for economic development, it's good for all of us. So that's why we're here today. We have 9 schools invited, 3rd grade, from here in our local schools. And I do, by the way, my name is Tom Wheeler. I'm with the Beautification Commission, and I'd just like to recognize, I understand, and I see out here in the crowd, Joy and Rao from our city, and Bill Sayer is here. John, I know you're, yes, and John Polcher. I understand, yes, there he is. Mr. Horn, good to see you, sir. We are very fortunate in the Beautification Commission to have a relationship with getting, under the direction that we need and the kind of help that we need to make things happen in this community with the folks from Public Works, and we're very well represented by the people from Public Works.
The 9 trees that we plant today are one of millions that will be planted all throughout the country, and all of you who helped plant those trees today, all of you from the elementary schools in our area, you'll always be able to come back here and look and say, I participated in Arbor Day and I helped Arbor Day throughout the country with your 1 tree for your elementary school. So we appreciate you doing that. It's an honor that you were selected to come here to do that, and we're honored that you're here today to do so. So as you know, Centerville's been a tree city for about 30 years now. We're going to receive, as Tom said, we're receiving a special award for the participation that Centerville has had over the years in Arbor Day. And by doing this today, I think this is going to be our 30th year, and the City of Centerville will be recognized with the Growth Award for Tree City USA. So we're very pleased that at that time Shirley Hines was our mayor, that she encouraged council and staff to participate in Tree City USA, and it's been a success ever since. So thank you all for being here today. Let me mention a couple other people that are here. Doug Spittler, who's head of our Public Works Department. Doug is right there. And Mary Lou, who pretty much organizes. Mary Lou Pence is here. She's right there. She has been very active in Tree City USA and the Arbor Day for many years. She's been at the city for well over 20 years, I think, if I'm correct, and participated in every one of the Arbor Days. And we do have several of the Public Works people here. They are the specialists. They're the arborists of the city, so if you have any questions that you might want to ask about any of the special trees that are here today, so they'll be available for any questions and happy to answer some. So just as you know, trees are important. They're extremely important to our landscape. They're extremely important for those of you who are planting trees today, you're doing something for the future by making more oxygen for us to breathe. You do stop soil erosion by trees, as they started with the million in Nebraska, and it also takes care of slowing rain runoff and things of that sort that are very, very crucial to proper formation of the soils around our area.
City Beautiful Commission has several missions, one of which is to educate folks about horticultural and garden issues in the city. Our primary concern is keeping the city beautiful and helping to add to that beauty every year. We have a very active commission. We have, at the present time, 9, 10, 11 members, and we are seeking membership at this time. We have space for 15 on the commission. You don't have to be a green thumb gardener yourself, just be interested in helping keep Centerville the beautiful place that it is. The process is very easy as far as getting in to the commission. If you're interested in helping out, simply call the city building, go on the website, or stop by and pick up an application for volunteers. It's an all-volunteer organization too, by the way, and it is approved by City Council. The process is the application form. You go through an interview and a background check. The interview is with City Council, and if accepted, you're invited to come to a swearing-in ceremony at the next council meeting. And from there, we get busy. It's a busy group. We have a lot of fun. Some of the projects that we do, you'll notice, especially at this time of year, there'll be people starting in I believe it's the 14th of May, we'll be planting all the gardens up at what we call Four Corners, which is the area by City Barbecue and Graders. And that's, we maintain that throughout the whole summer in conjunction with Public Works. Other things that we do, you've probably heard of the Christmas Lighting Awards, and also the City Beautiful Awards for landscaping during the summer, which occurs from July through September. We changed that last year because it seems like things weren't growing quite right in June, so we've made that into July through September now. Our website is centervilleohio.gov, and if you need other information, please call 937-433-7151, and someone will be happy to talk with you about this.
So what we're going to do is we're going to send out a couple schools. We'll initially take the first tree here, get the first shovels turned, and since I left out John Hole, I want the three from John Hole to come up here initially, and we're going to help with the shovel here. And we would like, after the ceremony is done, would like you to all come back here because we'd like to introduce all of the children that are here to participate in the Arbor Day. And there'll be some cameras taken, their pictures taken, so we'd like to do that. So,
Rory.
Okay, Rory.
Paige.
Ethan. Nathan.
Ethan,
I'm sorry.
Gavin.
And Gavin.
Arbor Day!